Greetings of peace and prosperity. I am Rohaima M. Derogongan, the Junior High School Supreme Student Government President for the school year 2022 to 2023. First and foremost, I would like to acknowledge our beloved founding president, Reverend Dr. Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy, to our dynamic school president, Dr. Felix C. Chavez Jr., to our dedicated school administrator, Ms. Rosemary and Di Magnao, to Sir Brian T. Alberto, our astounding Associate Vice President for Basic Education, Ms. Jade M. Isaal, our devoted K-10 Principal, the astonishing Junior High School SSG Advisor, Ms. Chini M. Kamahala, the outgoing Junior High School SSG officers, the officers-elect for the school year 2023 to 2024, guests, teachers, staff, and students. Let us give everyone a warm round of applause. As I stand here today in this stage, I am overwhelmed with the amount of love and support everyone has shown me and my co-SSG officers throughout the year. This school year played such an important role in developing and shaping the student council and me into the people who we are today. This school year started off recovering from the transition from online classes to face-to-face classes. The student council had many difficulties in organizing events and handling the student body. And luckily, we always managed to push through. So here is a list of the events the Junior High School SSG organized or participated in. First, the Teachers' Day celebration held on October 7, 2022. The United Nations held on October 28, 2022. The English Month celebration held on December 16, 2022. The outreach program that was held in Dato Salumay, Marilog, Davao City on February 10, 2023. The Junior High School Promenade that was held on April 11, 2023. And lastly, the elections for the school year 2023 to 2024, which happened on the 4th week of May. Now, let us dig deeper into what the Junior High School Supreme Student Government had prepared for the school year 2022 to 2023. The batch's first ever event, the Teachers' Day celebration. The Junior High School Supreme Student Government prepared a modest gathering on October 7, 2022 in honor of Teachers' Day, bringing together teachers from the P-School Department to the Junior High School Department. This was our introduction to organizing events. We were all so pressured, especially due to the time constraints we had. And since we were only starting to get used to organizing events, not everything went as planned. We experienced some last-minute changes in the program, but fortunately, the Student Council was able to celebrate the event successfully. Our plans were the following. Dropbox or Padlet. Students are required to write a letter to their designated teacher to convey their appreciation towards them. All the letters will be collected using our Dropbox, and at the end of the day, the SSG officers will be in charge of distributing them to the teachers. Online learners will be submitting their letters via Padlet. Video greetings. Each section and president shall make a video respectively, greeting their advisor a happy Teacher's Day, showing their gratitude and appreciation towards the advisor. The compilation of the video greetings filmed by the students were actually posted on the JMTFI IBED page on Facebook. Harana, selected students will express their gratitude to the teachers through performing. This can either be done by singing or dancing with or without instruments. Parlor games. The Student Council will prepare parlor games for teachers to participate in during the students' performances. The chosen parlor games were the Pinoy Henyo, Trip to Jerusalem, and Quiz B. The festivities commenced at 10:30 a.m. in the school's Sky Gym, where the teachers were energized by a lively Zumba session. The Zumba session was led by Trisha Masanegra and Shaira Yaguno. They also participated in the parlor games the student council prepared. The event did not stop there, as an unexpected surprise awaited the teachers in room 205. So we actually thanked the teachers. We told them na the event was over, pero we had a plan to surprise them in room 205. Roses were handed out, letters from the students were read, and lunch was served. Hearts were also touched by the serenade performed by the band formed by the SSG. The band performed the songs When I Met You by Apple Hiking Society and Through the Years by Kenny Rogers. United Nations. The JMCFI Junior High School Department celebrates United Nations Month with the theme International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development on October 28 to 22. United Nations themed photo booth. These were our plans for the United Nations. Students can have their photographs taken in the booth prepared by the Student Council located at the second floor canteen. This was actually very successful because a lot of students lined up to have their pictures taken. Students' Choice Awards. The Junior High School SSG shall pick 2 of the best dressed students from each section, 1 male and 1 female, to enter the contest. Students can vote for their preferred pair by dropping money in the drop boxes. Each vote is equivalent to the amount of money being paid. The winners of the Students' Choice Award, for the third placer, it was U30 C. Polinar and Shaira Jihane A. Yaguno. The second placers, Fred Gabriel B. Lamparas and Alisa Maureen A. Tan. And for our first placers, Jamila Eden T. Rioja and Justin Chalmers M. Martin. English Month. The celebration for the English Month held last December 16, 2022 was prepared by the JMCFI Integrated Basic Education Department. The program consisted of the following events: the book parade and the one-act play. I am sure that most of you or all of you remember the one-act play because it was really hard to practice for, diba? The program for the one-act play was hosted by the Junior High School SSG President, yours truly, Rohaima M. Derogongan, and the Junior High School SSG Public Information Officer, Terence Kurt S. Vicente. The other SSG officers also participated in controlling the crowd. Outreach Program. The Integrated Basic Education Department of Josemaria College Foundation, Incorporated, organized a community outreach program last February 10, 2023 at Datu Salumay, Marilog, Davao City. The program aimed to create meaningful connections between 2 vulnerable groups in our society, the elderly and the children. It was attended by various individuals, including JMCFI IBED SSG officers, BS social work students, grade 10 learners, parents, teachers, and heads. This was actually in collaboration with the grade 10 learners and the SSG. Yung 100 pesos that we collected from you for the gift giving program, it was used toward this outreach program. The community outreach program organized by JMCFI successfully addressed the needs of the less fortunate individuals in the community. So sa mga children doon, binigyan namin sila ng mga school supplies, ng hygiene kit. And then we also had a free eye check-up for the elderly. By providing their necessities, the program made a positive impact on their lives. Furthermore, Josemaria College Foundation Incorporated remains committed to continuing its efforts to uplift the less fortunate people, provide ongoing support, and foster sustainable change in the community. Valentine's Day. This was the first ever event na controlled talaga ng SSG, ng Junior High School SSG. Love was in the air at Josemaria College Foundation Incorporated. The junior high school Supreme Student Government Officers initiated to spread love and positivity by organizing a special event for the students of JMCFI IBED on February 14, 2023. It was attended by various individuals including JMCFI IBED SSG officers, the junior high school students, parents, teachers, and heads. So, alam naman natin lahat na hindi talaga tayo mahilig magklase. So, we prepared for this event para we can celebrate Valentine's Day with you. So, our initial plans were actually for the morning program, Mr. and Miss Valentine's. And for the afternoon program, we prepared the dance battle and the battle of the bands. And we also prepared a booth, the confession booth. Pero because of technical difficulties, we had to change very last minute. Na-change namin yung schedule. So it became morning program, dance battle, and battle of the bands. And for the afternoon program, the Mr. and Miss Valentine's. So since mahirap talagang i-battle yung technical difficulties, we just had to adapt to the changes. Kasi that is what is important when facing last-minute changes. You need to adapt, you need to adjust, you need to know what to do next. Kasi hindi makaka-solve ng solusyon yung pagpapanik. So you just need to adapt. Our special guest, a special thanks to our junior high school SSG officers and Mr. Julian Osorio for performing their captivating intermission numbers that added more excitement to our event. Mr. Julian Osorio was actually a student here dati sa JMCFI. Their impressive talents and skills truly entertained and delighted everyone in the audience, making our event even more memorable. Mr. and Miss Valentine's. The crowned Mr. and Miss Valentine's were Kyla Calinas, our Vice President-elect, and Paul Esguerra from Grade 8 Hope. The winners were chosen based on their creativity, confidence, and stage presence during the pageant. Kyla and Paul both impressed the judges with their outstanding performances and wowed the audience with their charm and wit. Mr. and Miss Valentine's received gifts, crowns, and a bouquet as a prize. Dance Battle. The event was a huge success, with students from junior high school coming together to show their dance skills. Credible judges were invited to scrutinize the best performers. The Aqua Powers, the grade 8 performers, however, successfully stole the judges' attention with their energetic and synchronized performance. Battle of the Bands, I am sure na a lot of you were actually anticipating this part of the program kasi mahilig naman talaga yung mga students na makipag-jamming. So the Battle of the Bands champion was none other than the grade 10. Their electrifying performance left the judges and audience in awe as they showcased their musical talent and stage presence. Our prom. The junior high school prom night was a night to remember. Students danced in 4 batches for the rigodon and selected students danced in the cotillion. So we participated sa prom through this class prophecy and AVP pictures per section. The junior high school SSG prepared the class prophecy together with the computer teacher of grade 7 to 10, Ma'am Gracie Kagampang. The SSG officers also collected at least 20 pictures from each section to commemorate their memories as a section. Pass the hat. Pass the hats were a way of the student body and council to send their condolences to the bereaved family of J. Marnes. Yung mga times na pumapasok ako or minsan si Kurt or si Terence sa rooms niyo para mag-collect ng money, that was actually to send our condolences sa mga namatayan. So our policies strengthened were room cleanliness. The junior high school SSG officers were tasked to check each classroom's cleanliness to strengthen cleanliness policies in the school. We check it every afternoon, every after dismissal. Kaya nga, minsan yung mga students nagpapanik pa kasi magpipicturean daw yung room nila madumi. The second policy strengthened proper hallway procedures. The junior high school SSG officers were also tasked to roam the hallways every morning to implement the keep right and do the hall procedures on the students. So kapag may naririnig kayo na sumisigaw ng keep right, do the hall, SSG na yan. SSG project for the school year 2022 to 2023. Lockers. The junior high school SSG raised money for the lockers through their booths and events. Yung confession booth, photo booth, their efforts paid off as they were able to purchase new lockers for the school. The new lockers were a welcome addition to the school, providing students with a safe and secure place to store their belongings. So yung lockers na to is actually nasa second floor na, I think. If that is correct, yes, that is correct. It is prepared for the next school year po. Yung money na na-collect namin through your tickets sa Valentine's Day, it was used toward this purpose. And lastly, for our SSG funds. The SSG funds were used for the following: Teachers' Day celebration, United Nations Valentine's Day, elections for the school year 2023 to 2024. The financing for the COMELEC was actually covered by the SSG. The SSG bulletin board found sa gilid ng library and yung lockers especially. The total SSG funds, yung wala pang kaltas, it is total of 54,754 pesos. Actually, hindi pa yan kompleto because there are still students na hindi pa nakakapagbayad ng SSG funds nila. So I would like to remind everyone to please pay their SSG funds na po. Leading the student council and body gave me so many opportunities and taught me so many lessons along the way. If being the leader of a group report is hard enough, then being the head of the student council and the student body is even harder. Being an academic achiever, I am always expected to be responsible, which meant I was always picked to be the leader in group works. I have always thought of it as a burden, but now I think of it as a privilege. It is a privilege to be trusted with something so important. I have actually always wondered what the student body saw in me for them to elect me into my position. Maybe it's because I have been in the institution for quite some time now. Maybe it is because I have connections with the students because of my last name. I don't know. What I only know is that I have to prove them right. That I am deserving of my position. That I am capable of governing the student body into becoming student leaders themselves. With that comes one of the most important values I have really understood the essence of: accountability. You are leading such a big number of people, and people will follow you. One small mistake you make can lead to something bigger. This is why you have to be accountable. You are bound to mess up at one point, but owning up to your mistakes shall make everything easier to fix. I know this will be redundant, but teamwork really makes the dream work. There are times where you will fight with your co-SSG officers, kaya nga meron tayong peace officer. There are times where no one will volunteer to perform the tasks. There are times where you really think at the end of the day na, I am so tired of my co-SSG officers. That is the reality of performing everything as a team. But I don't think I could have accomplished anything without the help of my co-SSG officers. I don't think I could have survived anything without them. As I have said in one of my previous speeches, I really am fortunate enough to work with the most incredible people I have ever met. People who are so good with their words. People who are very innovative. People I will remember as I continue on to the next chapter of my life. As your incoming president, I have so much advice I can give you, the elect. First, you should always know your goal. Very specific about it. Before the school year even starts, you should know what you want to work hard for, what you want to advocate for, and what you want to accomplish. Second, always remember to listen. As teachers, you are the instruments of the student body to amplify their voices. Their opinions and suggestions are always deserving of being heard. If you know that you are advocating for something that could impact the institution significantly, just fight for it. List down everything you hear from the student body. Be accepting of criticism. This is something I would also like to add. The president may be at the very top of the hierarchy, but it's still very important for him or her to listen to his or her subordinates. It may be damaging to the pride to be proved wrong, especially when corrected by someone under your authority. However, your pride should be the very least of your concerns. Your topmost priority should be to serve the student body to the very best of your capabilities. Another important advice is to never be afraid of change. As they always say, change is the only constant thing in this world. Organizing events, you will always experience last-minute changes. Adapt. Communicate with your co-SSG officers. Things will go on smoothly if you only just talk everything out and plan for the changes you have made. And lastly, trust your co-SSG officers. You are all elected officials for a reason. The student body saw your potential. Never be hesitant in delegating your tasks, even to the officers from the lower grade levels. You should always think of it as, if they never try, they'll never learn. Train them as young as they are. Just start with giving them smaller tasks, then they can work their way up. This is something I actually didn't realize just until recently, which I really regret. I missed the opportunity to help these young people bloom. This school year is truly the most memorable school year of my life. I have never been surrounded with so much love and support as I have right now. To our Associate Vice President for Basic Education, Mr. Brian T. Alberto, thank you for always being supportive of whatever the Student Council comes up with. To our K-10 Principal, Ms. Jade M. Isaal, thank you for always instilling discipline in all of us. To Ms. Shanine K. Joy C. Morales, thank you, ma'am, for always imparting your experiences and knowledge during your high school days when you were a previous SSG officer. To the COMELEC advisor, Mr. Russell Bon V. Noval. Thank you, sir, for teaching me to always be firm in every decision I make, for always trying to help improve and strengthen the Student Council. To the Junior High School Supreme Student Government Advisor, Ma'am Chini M. Kamahalan, thank you, ma'am, for always being there to defend us, for helping us amplify the voices of the Student Council, for leading the Student Council into success in every event. And of course, I would never forget to thank my co-SSG officers. To our very creative Vice President, Ms. Aya Shaina Siniera, thank you for always being supportive in every decision I make. To the rest of the Executive Committee, thank you for being the most helpful and hands-on officers. To the Senators, thank you for planning and designing every event we organize. To the representatives, thank you for always being there to perform your tasks and going beyond your roles to help everyone. I cannot thank everyone enough. You all deserve a warm round of applause. And so, for the very last time, I am Rohaima M. Derogongan, the Junior High School Supreme Student Government President for the school year 2022 to 2023. Thank you all so much for giving me the most memorable term I could ever ask for.